Hello again, and welcome to the Tambourine Mountain episode. So, that was our little car that we rented for the week, a little yellow mobile. And this is me just filming everything as we moved out of the last apartment, just to prove that everything was returned to its original positions and we didn't damage anything. So, yeah, but I also thought it gives you a quick snapshot of what the apartment was like because I don't think I actually showed it in any of the videos. Then we loaded up the car. It was a bit of a jam-packed journey, but it was only about 45-50 minutes to Mount Tambourine, so it wasn't too bad. And the views were absolutely stunning as we were driving up, although very windy roads, which was a little bit scary considering the boys hadn't yet driven in Australia, or Louis hadn't for a long time anyway. So it consisted of a lot of me and Sophie going, slow down, but we made it in one piece. Then we got there and went to the Gallery Walk, which is basically a street with loads of beautiful little tourist shops. And this was a man making some gorgeous crockery, pottery, crockery, I don't know, both, just outside on the street. And it was really satisfying to watch. So yeah, this is the street, and it's just like loads of cafes, little handcrafted shops. This was a what they called cuckoo clock shop, and we were in there on the hour when they all went off. Oh my god, it was noisy. I don't think I could work there. Pretty pink house. Then we went to this place, the monkey tree, and had loads of little small dishes, little tapas thing, and it was so delicious and really pretty place. And that was a little kookaburra in the tree as we were having our dinner. Then we got some ice creams, and the woman that we rented our apartment from recommended that we try the fudge here. We didn't actually do that in the end, but maybe if anyone comes in the future, you should try that out. And then this was our apartment, which was amazing. It was basically like a massive house just in the middle of the rainforest, basically. And this was literally just the outside area. Then, as you walk in, you've got the lounge, which had like a wood burner, a little seating area there, and then the kitchen, and that also had loads of like equipment, so you could just cook throughout the week. Washing area, another little sofa bed, and then outside just was amazing. The views were beautiful. So most evening, sorry, getting stuck there. Most evenings we were sat out there just playing cards, music on, and they had like gorgeous little lights as well, like all around the building, which was lovely. So this place was literally massive, and it had about one, two, three, four, five double beds in it. So we asked if our friends Ella and Zach could stay, and like we understand, Airbnbs need to make their money, so it it does make sense if they say no, but they just kept saying it only accommodates 5 people, and we were so confused because we were like, okay, like we're fine if we can't have more people than we put for, that's fine, but like, you've got so many double beds in here. I think it can accommodate a few more people. So that was a shame because Ella and Zach were going to come up for one day and just, come for a little hike with us and stay for the evening, but they didn't do that in the end. But never mind, we'll have to come back at some point and book a bigger place. Um, so yeah, this attic room had like 2 beds in it, so we all slept in the same room on the first night because there were so many spiders and snakes, and as lovely as the week was, I was terrified the whole time that I was gonna encounter something very scary. This is Sophie messing around again, bless her little heart. But yeah, actually didn't see a single snake, which was good. Saw a few lizards. But yeah, spiders, I probably saw the biggest ones I have seen so far there, but not too bad. Oh, also, we made a little friend with Lizzie who lived in our lounge the whole time we were there. We did try and help her to get out, but it just wasn't happening. She kept running behind the sofa, so we kept her in the end, and apparently they're good for eating the bugs anyway, so I think I'd rather have her than a big fat spider. And then this is the view from the balcony, which is not as good on camera. Oh, and there was a kookaburra in the tree. I don't know if you can see that straight ahead there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think camera just does not do justice for the place. One night we were sat on the balcony and we were playing cards, and it was really dark, and we could hear something like scurrying through the bushes, and then Sophie saw like a massive black tail, which completely freaked us out, and we all ran inside. And then I kept waking up in the middle of the night hearing like something scratching on the balcony outside, and like honestly sounded like it was shaking a car or something. So I was really scared. And then this was maybe the first day where we went for a nice little hike. And some pretty little spider webs in the trees. There's no spider though, Izzy, so don't worry, no trigger warning needed there. And then some really, really cool trees like twisted inside each other, which there was a reason for that. I think it was like when animals are climbing up a tree and then basically they poo, and then it makes the tree grow down over the next one, like over the previous tree, I think, although I could have got that completely wrong. But yeah, it was so pretty, but unfortunately again the cyclone had completely destroyed so much of it. So there was areas which we were meant to be able to swim, but it was just shut because it was just unsafe because all the trees had fallen down, and even when we were walking through it, a lot of the trees we could hear falling down, which was a bit creepy. And then we went to the Witches Falls Winery, and we got little tasting menu. So the boys did ciders because they're not as keen on wine. I think they had a Pink Lady apple cider, a Granny's, what was it? Granny Smith? I don't know what's that apple called. A ginger one and a rosé cider, and they were really, really lovely. And me and Sophie did the wines, which again so nice. We had like 2 whites, 2 reds, a rosé, and a dessert wine, and we had a cheese board as well. That's Max doing some stretches. Then again, we went for another walk on the following day. Just such amazing scenery, and I believe this was, oh, there's a little lizard. I think this is one with a waterfall, so it was very, very pretty. And the sun was out the whole time. I don't think it rained whilst we were there, which was lovely because it wouldn't be so fun walking through forests in the rain. But yeah, there's a massive tree that had fallen down, which is quite a shame to see, but that's life. And there's another one of those twisty trees. And there's another tree down, which also made it quite difficult to walk through because we had to like climb over the trunks because they block the paths and stuff. But I guess made it a bit more fun. And yeah, loads of the roots were like out of the ground, which I don't know if that's a normal thing here, but not something that you'd see in the UK. And then yeah, this is one of the waterfalls. I think this was the first one we saw, so that was pretty exciting. And me and Sophie wore Crocs on most of the walks, but the mud was like seeping through the holes. But I think that's better than destroying your trainers, to be honest, because a lot of the place was like super sludgy, super muddy, and yeah, I'm cleaning our shoes every day, but it was worth it for views like this. And then Sophie, Max being silly. This is one of the viewpoints. I think this was the Witches Falls, the Witches Waterfall. I don't know, can't remember now. But yeah, and then carried on the walk. I think this one was about 6 kilometers in the end. And we then had a little picnic, which was lovely, watching all the kookaburras flying around. And then we went and did the Skywalk. So this is basically like elevated platforms, amongst the trees. Pretty cool again. Fortunately, we didn't see any koalas, which is a shame. But more waterfalls. This was a lot easier walk. It was like pretty much gravelled the whole way round. So if you want a bit of a safer walk, if you ever come out here, then I'd suggest that one. I think we definitely got our 10k steps in every day on this holiday. It's a lot of walking, and yeah, so a lot of the waterfalls you're not actually allowed to swim in because safety reasons, but the ones that you were allowed to were shut, like I said earlier. So that was a shame, but also there were people swimming in the ones that you're not allowed to swim in anyway. But yeah, then there were loads of viewpoints where people would come and watch the sunset. So we did that on most nights. However, unfortunately, it was really, really cloudy most of the time. So although very pretty, we couldn't really see the actual sun, which was a shame. But I'll probably come back in a few weeks when my parents are here and do it again. And hopefully there won't be any clouds this time. So yeah. And then another walk. This was the waterfall where people were swimming when they're not actually supposed to be. There's some girls sitting on a tree blocking everyone's photos, but hey ho. And then this was a little lizard on the rock by the waterfall. I think you'll be able to see him now. And then he runs away. There were lots of kids on this walk. A lot of screamy, shouty kids, which was cute. They were having fun, but definitely not a peaceful walk. And then, oh, these are the bats again. So I don't know if you saw the last video, but they just sit in the trees and they're so loud, but really, really cool to watch. And there's one flying in. There was literally so many above us. All these little dots you can see up there are bats. All flying foxes. Are they the same thing? I don't know. And then on this walk, it got to a point where you had to cross the river on the pebbles, on the stones, which honestly was chaos. There were so many people struggling to get across. Like, lots of old people, bless them, who probably didn't anticipate it to be this bad. This is me and Sophie attempting to do it, but it was so slippy. I think I fell in like twice, but only my feet, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, lots of kids as well, like struggling to get across, but kind of funny. And this was a peacock by the cars in the car park. He came right up to us, very brave. Kind of scared me actually. Look at it, so pretty. And then some kids started chasing it, so he ran away. We then did some mini golf. This was Louis getting a hole in one, and this is me hitting it into the little pond. But why put a pond at the end of a mini golf park? So many people did it. Seems silly if you ask me. Another beautiful sunset. And then we went to St. Bernard's Hotel, which had these cute little puppies in the reception area. But they stank. Oh my god. I'm glad I didn't get a table near them because they were smelly. And the food was really nice, but we kind of expected like a restaurant kind of setting, but it was very much like go up, get your own menus, order your own food at the kiosk kind of thing, which was still fine, but just not what we were expecting. But the food was nice. We also kind of didn't understand the hype of the place because we'd seen it like all over TikTok and stuff. But when we went, it was a bit like, oh, until we went back the next day in the daylight and saw the view from the balcony, and it was incredible. So yeah, if you're going to go to the St. Bernard's Hotel, definitely do it in the day and sit on the balcony. We then went back and had a bit of a drinkies night and drank some of the Witches Falls wine that we took home from the wine tasting experience, and played Monopoly, which went on for hours. And I think Max got a bit bored at the end, but him and Sophie called a tie in the end because it was going on for so long. Even though I think Sophie won, but don't tell Max. And me and Louis stopped playing finger football because we got bored of waiting. Then we went to this gorgeous cafe called Cafe 88 in Mount Tambourine. Definitely go if you're there. It was just this little lady cooking all the food and making all the drinks, bless her, but it was so delicious. And we all had like toasted sandwiches. It had this cute little area to just chill out whilst you're waiting for your food. Here's us playing tic tac toe. Boys chilling on the bean bags, and she has a little dog called Roo, who was running around, and he was so sweet. And yeah, she sells like lots of like different chais and little handmade jewelry and stuff as well. So yeah, check it out if you're ever in the area. Here's the boys basking in the sun, and there's little Roo. So cute. Really, really pretty place to come and eat. This is Sophie having her chai. She was a bit confused because here it's normally just like a powder or a syrup, but this was like proper leaves, chai leaves. And me and Max had a choco milkshake, and these were the toasted sandwiches. Honestly, amazing. So yummy. Then we went to the glowworm experience, which was pretty cool. The boys reckon it was fake and they were just little lights on the wall, but I don't think so. And this was at the same place where they had like a reptile centre, and there is a frog on that leaf. That bright green spot is a frog, which is pretty cool. Until we went in and the lady came in after and said, "Oh, somewhere there's a huntsman here." Oh, okay, trigger warning for the snake. The trigger warning might be a bit too late, but ugh, creepy. There's some little froggies sat together, which were quite cute. She also said there was like a python in there, in just chilling in the park that we were stood in as well. But luckily, I didn't see them. I don't know if she was lying or not, but I'm glad I didn't see them. Then we went to the botanical gardens. Me and Sophie having a silly moment, which were beautiful, but again, so much of it closed off because the cyclone. So that was a shame. Probably didn't spend as much time as we'd have liked to there because most of the paths were closed. And then, yeah, this is the view from the St. Bernard's Hotel. And we went to watch another sunset, which was beautiful, but again, that cloud was blocking it. But loads of people having wedding photography there, which was pretty cool, but kind of embarrassing. I don't know, I couldn't do it. And then we had this gorgeous Mexican on the last night before heading home the next day. So, yeah, a really, really lovely time spent in Mount Tamborine.